Yeah, good evening and welcome to YouTube, Iyun to Lean On O. We're doing today CS Hapas. We started Simon Kuf Samil Zayin 167. I want to talk briefly about the idea of CS Hapas. It's a special type of halacha that when it comes to bread and when it comes to wine, right? If you're joining together and you're koveya suited together, you're eating in a specific place, you make a reservation to eat in a specific place at a certain time, um, or you're a family eating together, specifically a Shabbos meal or things like that. Really, the way it works is usually when you make brachas, right? Everyone makes a bracha. I'm eating an apple. He's eating an apple. I'm not motzi him in the apple. Everyone makes their own bracha. When it comes to b'sias hapas, and when you're koveir yourself to drink together, also there's a special mitzvah that there should be a botzea, one person who's breaking the bread and giving from his bread to the rest of the people, and he's being motzi them in his bracha. So I want to speak about this, that really there's two reasons why you make a bracha. The first reason you make a bracha, any bracha, shahakol, ayit, adama, the Gemara says in bracha, so it's like stealing from Hashem. You're mauled from Hashem. The world belongs to Hashem. You have to give respect to Hashem, thank Him for giving you the food. The second reason is that, like when really by pas, right? The Gemara says if there's a chiyuv in the Torah, the only bracha midoraisa, there's two brachas midoraisa, one brachas Torah and one brachas hamazon after you eat. So if you're gonna bless Hashem after you benefited from the food, kol shekain, before you can eat from the food, you should make a bracha. The Gemara is a kol shekain, which seems to be on a level of daraisa, and that's talking about brachas hamazon. And brachas hamazon, if there's people eating together, you do zimun together, you join together. That idea of bracha is really, it's not for Hashem getting reshus from Hashem to eat the food. It's unity, right? By thanking Hashem for the food you do in a zimun together, you're unifying together and you're bringing unity between people. That's how people bond. People bond over a meal. People bond when they drink together. So the idea of brachos is not so much to thank Hashem, but it's to bond through thanking Hashem. That's the vehicle of bonding, is thanking Hashem. Of course, what you're doing, you're thanking Hashem for the food, but the idea is so much more. It's an idea of bonding over here. And that's why there's an interesting Ramah over here. The Ramah says that even though you're not supposed to interrupt by talking, idly talking after you make a bracha before you eat, if you're sitting at a Shabbos meal and someone makes the hamotzi and then he eats and he gives it out to you, you're allowed to talk technically before you eat from the bread, because again, it's not the bracha that you're being yosei with him. It's not a bracha that's allowing you to eat the food, and therefore I can't be mafsik between my bracha, right? If the bracha is just a bracha sanenin, right, allowing you, asking reshus from Hashem, you're not supposed to interrupt before you eat because you ask permission from Hashem and then you eat the food. You shouldn't interrupt. But if the whole idea is to join together, how do you join together? Through the botzeya, through the person who bakes bread. There's a whole, order of who is the one who should break the bread. So once he breaks the bread, he's yotzi everyone the bracha, and he tastes already. That has created the unity, and there's no reason for a prohibition of talking idly over here, even though all the achrons to argue on it. The Ramah does say that. And I'll talk one more halacha. There's a halacha that generally you have to have a kfiyah suda. The whole halacha of one person being mostly the others only when there's a kfiyah suda. Or even if you're not eating from the same piece of bread, or you only have your own roll, but you make a reservation, you plan on eating at a certain place together. There's halacha on halacha yud gimel. It says heicha delo kavu makom damrina shkolechem levarach le'atzma. In a place where you're not joining together, you don't make a reservation. You don't need a specific place. Im kivein hamavarach laosim in iskav nulatzes yatu. Technically, you could be yotzei through the mavarich. Even though there's no kfiyas, you're not joining together. It's not a unified meal. You could be yotzei, and I think shouldn't be the case. This is a quote from the Rokeach. It's not a quote from the Gemara, and the Gemara seems to be mochlek. The only time you could be motzi other people, only time you should be motzi other people, is when you're joined together. Either you're leaning together, if chairs that with a back, and so you're in a stationary position. You're going to sit there for a while with a chair that you can lean your back on, not a bench. Or you make a reservation together, or you're eating together in unison. So then there's an idea of unison. But if there's no idea of unison, you're eating in different parts of the room or something like that. It's a buffet or something like that. You're eating at different tables at a wedding or something like that, or at the smorgasbord at a wedding. So you can't be yotzei with the hamotzi of the other person, because part of the hamotzi is like the zima at the end of the meal is to unify together. And if you're not unified, you can't be motzi, you can't be botzei pas. This whole halacha, this whole siman of b'sias hapas only applies when there's unity, of creating unity, and that's really what birchas hamotzi is, right? If there is birchas hamotzi when you're eating by yourself, and that is just right for the other purpose of allowing your reshus to do it. But in terms of being motzi other people in a bracha of hamotzi, you can only do that when there's unification. When there's unification, that's the second level of brachos. We'll talk more about this as we go through b'sias hapas and about bracha, halachas of brachos themselves. There's an important distinction that b'sias hapas, eating bread together, breaking bread together, is an additional level, maybe even a deraisa level, a different type of bracha. It's a bracha of unification, not a bracha necessarily to thank Hashem or allow you to eat the food. Hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next one.